Welcome back to the rarest coins. Today, we're traveling back in time to talk about one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1945 wheat penny. This isn't just any old coin. The 1945 Lincoln wheat cent might be one of the most recognized coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint, and for most people, it's nothing more than a piece of pocket change. But what if I told you that one specific version of the 1945 wheat penny has been valued at a staggering $1.9 million? Yes, that's right. A penny. Just 1 cent worth nearly $2 million. Sounds unbelievable? Well, stick around, because the story behind this coin will surprise you, and it just might make you go digging through your old coin jar or family collection. Let's start with the history. The Lincoln wheat penny, also known as the wheat cent, was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's image, and who better than the 16th president himself? On the reverse side, two stalks of wheat curve upward, symbolizing strength and prosperity. This design remained in use until 1958. Now, the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny was minted at a very unique moment in American history. World War II was ending. The country was transitioning from wartime production to peacetime prosperity. During the war, in 1943, the mint made pennies from steel coated with zinc to save copper for ammunition and equipment. But by 1945, they returned to mostly copper-based planchets, specifically 95% copper and 5% zinc. There were three mint facilities producing pennies in 1945: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These are identified by their mint marks: no mark for Philadelphia, a small D for Denver, and an S for San Francisco. Combined, over 1.4 billion pennies were minted that year, making the 1945 wheat penny one of the most common coins of its time. So, with that many made, why would one be worth millions? Let's talk about the million-dollar question. Among those billions of coins, a few rare varieties and errors slipped through the cracks. One of them, an extremely rare 1945 wheat penny struck on the wrong metal, possibly leftover silver alloy or a transitional planchet, has been certified and valued at over $1.9 million. This coin is truly one of a kind. Let's break down what made that coin so special. First, it was struck on a wrong planchet. That means the coin was accidentally minted using a blank intended for another coin, possibly a silver dime or a foreign coin. This gave the penny a different weight, a slightly different diameter, and a strikingly unusual appearance. The color was off. It had a brighter, silvery tone instead of the usual copper look. Next, the condition. This rare 1945 penny was found in almost flawless mint state condition. It was graded by a professional grading company, most likely PCGS or NGC, and received an extremely high grade, likely MS 68 or above. That level of preservation is almost unheard of for a coin from 1945, which adds a huge premium to the value. And finally, demand. High-end collectors love coins with stories, and this one had it all. A coin from the final year of World War II, struck with a rare error. In perfect condition. Once this coin was discovered and authenticated, it became the subject of massive attention. When it finally went to auction, it sold for an unbelievable $1.9 million to a private collector who understood just how rare this piece of American history truly was. Now here's the important part. What should you look for? If you have a 1945 wheat penny, flip it over and examine both sides carefully. Look at the color. A standard 1945 penny will have a copper or dark brown tone, depending on how it's aged. But if yours looks silvery or unusually shiny, that could be a clue. Next, weigh the coin. A normal 1945 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If your coin weighs significantly less or more, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet. You can use a digital scale that measures to the hundredth of a gram for accuracy. Also, inspect the edges and the details. Look for doubling in the lettering or date. Some 1945 pennies feature double die errors, where parts of the design appear slightly duplicated. These can increase the value substantially even if they aren't as rare as the multi-million-dollar variety. Look for coins in excellent condition. Even a regular 1945 wheat penny can sell for $10, $50, or even hundreds of dollars if it's in mint state condition. The redder the copper and the sharper the detail, the more desirable the coin becomes to collectors. If you think you've found something unusual, especially a coin with odd weight, odd coloring, or flawless surfaces, your next step is to send it to a professional grading service. PCGS and NGC are the two most respected in the business. They'll authenticate the coin, determine its grade, and give it a certification that can unlock its true market value. In conclusion, the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny is more than just an old coin. It's a symbol of American resilience during a turning point in history. And for a lucky few, it's a key to untold fortune. One rare version, struck in error and preserved through the decades, ended up selling for $1.9 million. It's out there, and more may exist, hiding in forgotten boxes, passed down through families, or tossed aside in drawers. So go check your old coins. Ask your grandparents. Look through your penny rolls. Because you never know, the next time you pick up a 1-cent piece, you could be holding $1 million treasure in the palm of your hand. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Drop a comment below and tell us, have you ever found a rare coin in your pocket or collection? We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, stay curious, stay sharp, and happy hunting. Let me know if you want a YouTube title, description, thumbnail idea, or hashtags to go along with this video for maximum searchability and engagement. Today, we're digging into a coin that might look simple, but it holds an incredible story, the 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny. This is one of the most well-known and widely circulated coins in American history. Millions were made, and you can still find them in old collections, coin jars, and even the occasional pocket change. But here's where things get exciting. While most 1941 pennies are worth just a few cents to a couple of dollars, one rare version of this coin was valued at an unbelievable $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 1-cent coin from 1941, worth more than a house, a luxury car, or even a small business. So how did this happen? Why is one 1941 wheat penny worth a fortune? And could you have one of these valuable coins without even knowing it? Let's dive into the full story, starting with the history behind the 1941 wheat penny. The Lincoln Wheat penny was introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's face, and the design was an instant hit. On the front is Lincoln's profile, and on the reverse, two wheat stalks curve around the words 1 cent and United States of America. The wheat ears symbolized growth, prosperity, and strength, key themes for early 20th century America. By 1941, the Lincoln cent had already become one of the most produced coins in U.S. history. The world was on edge. World War II had begun, and the U.S. would soon be pulled into it after the attack on Pearl Harbor later that year. Even before that, the economy and industries were shifting to prepare for wartime production. Still, the U.S. Mint continued producing coins for daily commerce, including the penny. In 1941, 3 U.S. Mint locations struck the Lincoln Wheat penny: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can tell where your coin was minted by looking just below the date on the front. If there's no mint mark, it came from Philadelphia. A D means Denver. An S means San Francisco. In total, over 887 million 1941 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, over 128 million in Denver, and around 92 million in San Francisco. That's over 1 billion coins. So by all accounts, the 1941 wheat penny should be very common. And it is. So how did one of these coins end up being worth $1.80 million? Here's where it gets interesting. Among all those billions of coins, mistakes happen. And one of those mistakes, extremely rare, nearly impossible to replicate, and struck under unique conditions, produced a 1941 Lincoln penny that became a collector's dream. This specific coin was struck on the wrong metal. During minting, coins are stamped onto blank discs called planchets. Each denomination uses a different size and metal composition. But once in a while, a coin is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination. In this case, the 1941 wheat penny was struck on a silver dime planchet. That alone makes it incredibly rare. But there's more. Because the dime planchet is smaller than a penny, the coin appeared slightly off-centered. Part of the design, including some of the lettering and the edge detail, was cut off. The color was also unusual. Instead of the classic copper tone, this penny had a silver appearance. When it was first discovered, it was almost mistaken for a counterfeit. But after being examined by professional graders, it was authenticated as a genuine 1941 penny struck on a dime planchet. And the condition? Absolutely remarkable. The coin had been preserved in near-perfect condition, possibly hidden away for decades before resurfacing. It received a top-tier mint state grade from a professional grading service, likely MS 67 or higher. When that coin went to auction, collectors went wild. Multiple bidders, all aware of the rarity and the history behind it, drove the price higher and higher until it finally sold for a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. So, what should you be looking for if you have a 1941 wheat penny? Start with the basics. Flip your coin over and look at the color. A normal 1941 penny will have a brown or reddish copper tone, depending on its age and condition. If your penny looks silver, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet, especially if it's lighter or smaller than normal. Next, weigh your coin. A regular 1941 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. A silver dime weighs about 2.5 grams. If your penny is significantly lighter, that's a red flag. Now check the edges and details. Does the coin seem off-center? Is part of the design cut off or missing? Are the edges smooth, or do they show signs of reading? Those tiny ridges that appear on the edge of a dime. These clues could point to a coin struck on a dime blank. Also, look closely at the lettering. If you see any doubling, for example, two slightly offset images of the word Liberty or the date, that could be a double die error. These types of mistakes can add hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value. And of course, condition matters. If your penny is clean, sharp, and shiny with no scratches or wear, it may qualify for a mint state grade. Even a normal 1941 penny in MS 65 condition can sell for over $100. Errors in mint state? Those can be worth thousands. If you think you found something unusual, don't guess. Send your coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll examine the coin, verify any errors, assign a grade, and seal it in a certified holder. This not only confirms its authenticity, but also helps if you ever decide to sell it. In conclusion, the 1941 wheat penny may be common in number, but it's far from boring. From its roots during the early days of World War II to the accidental creation of one of the rarest error coins in U.S. history, the 1941 Lincoln cent is a piece of living history. And one rare error version, struck on the wrong metal, preserved in pristine condition, and chased by elite collectors, sold for a staggering $1.8 million. So before you toss that old penny aside or cash in your coin jar, take a closer look. Because buried in those old cents might be a once-in-a-lifetime find, $1 million mistake hiding in plain sight. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss a future episode. Let us know in the comments. Have you ever found a rare coin in your change or collection? We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, stay curious, keep looking, and happy coin hunting. Let me know if you'd like an optimized YouTube video title, catchy description, thumbnail idea, or keyword tags to help this video rank and go viral. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the world of pennies again, but not just any penny. We're talking about a coin that most people overlook, a coin so common that you've probably tossed it into a jar without even thinking twice. But this time, one of those ordinary-looking pennies turned out to be worth an absolutely jaw-dropping $1.4 million. That's right. We're talking about the 1982 Lincoln penny, a coin that seems simple on the surface, but when you dig deeper, you'll find out just how complex and rare this particular year actually is. In fact, 1982 might just be the most confusing and fascinating year in all of Lincoln cent history. So, what makes the 1982 penny so special? Why do collectors go crazy over it? And how could one of these coins possibly sell for $1.4 million? Let's break it all down, starting with a little background. The Lincoln penny was first minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It became an instant classic and has been a fixture of American coinage ever since. From 1909 to 1958, the reverse featured two wheat stalks, the famous wheat penny design. After 1959, the reverse changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, and that's the design we still see on many older coins today. Now, let's fast forward to 1982. This was a turning point year for the U.S. Mint. Up until 1982, pennies were made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But due to the rising cost of copper, it actually started costing the government more than 1 cent to make a 1 cent coin. So the U.S. Mint made a major change mid-year. They began producing pennies out of copper-plated zinc instead, a cheaper composition. That means in 1982, two different types of pennies were minted, copper pennies and zinc pennies. But it doesn't stop there. The mint also produced these coins in different styles, including large date and small date variations. And they came from both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. That means there are 7 official varieties of the 1982 Lincoln penny. Here's a quick breakdown of those. 1982 copper large date, 1982 copper small date, 1982 D copper large date, 1982 zinc large date, 1982 zinc small date, 1982 D zinc large date, and then, the rarest of them all, the 1982 D small date copper. This final variety is the one that changed everything. For years, collectors didn't even believe this version existed. It was long assumed that the Denver Mint never struck small date copper since in 1982. But that belief was shattered in 2016, when a 1982 D small date Lincoln cent struck on a copper planchet was discovered and later authenticated. It became one of the most talked about discoveries in modern coin collecting. This wasn't just a new variety. It was a major minting anomaly, something that should not have existed, but somehow did. And because only one authentic example has ever been confirmed and graded, it instantly became a holy grail coin. That single 1982 D small date copper penny was graded by PCGS, one of the most respected coin grading services in the world. It received an extremely high mint state grade and was considered not just rare, but unique, the only one known to exist in the entire world. And that brings us to the $1 million mark. When this coin was authenticated and word got out, high-end collectors began making offers. Eventually, after a whirlwind of interest, the coin was reportedly valued at an astonishing $1.4 million, making it one of the most valuable modern pennies in existence. Now here's the big question. Could you have one? Believe it or not, there's a small chance. Because 1982 was such a transitional year, it's possible that a few more of these ultra-rare 1982 D small date copper cents slipped through. So let's talk about what you need to look for. First, you'll need a 1982 penny with a D mint mark. That means it came from the Denver Mint. Next, check the date. You'll need to determine if it's a small date or a large date. This takes some practice. On a small date, the numbers in the year look more delicate. The 2 is narrow and curls tightly. The 8 is more even in shape. On a large date, the numbers are bolder, and the 8 is uneven with a larger top loop. Once you've confirmed it's a 1982 D small date, the next step is checking the metal composition. This is crucial. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams. A zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams. You'll need a digital coin scale that reads to 2 decimal places. If your 1982 D small date penny weighs around 3.11 grams, you may have a copper version, and that's when things get very exciting. If your coin passes all of those tests, small date, Denver Mint, and copper weight, it could be one of the rarest pennies ever discovered. Your next step would be to submit it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it, assign it a grade, and seal it in a tamper-proof holder. That's the only way to confirm whether you've found a coin worth a few cents or a coin worth well over $1 million. Even if you don't have the $1.4 million version, 1982 pennies can still be valuable. Some of the varieties in high mint state grades have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors love this year because of its complexity, and high-grade coins are always in demand. In conclusion, the 1982 Lincoln penny is a fascinating piece of American coin history. It represents a time of change, a technical challenge for the U.S. Mint, and a mystery that kept collectors guessing for decades. And now, with one confirmed 1982 D small date copper cent out there, and the possibility of more, the search is very much alive. So check your jars. Go through your change. Take a second look at that old stash of pennies in the attic. Because that ordinary-looking coin could turn out to be something extraordinary, a 1-cent coin that's actually worth $1.4 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more stories about rare coins and hidden treasures, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next upload. Let us know in the comments, have you ever found a rare penny or coin with an error? We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, stay curious, keep hunting, and happy collecting. If you'd like help writing a compelling video title, description, or thumbnail idea to go along with this script, just let me know. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about one of the most unexpected treasures in modern coin collecting, the 2018 Lincoln penny. That's right, a coin that millions of people pass over every single day. A coin you've probably used to buy a stick of gum or let collect dust in a cup holder. But did you know that one version of the 2018 Lincoln penny has been valued at a mind-blowing $1.1 million? You heard that right. A 1-cent coin from just a few years ago is now part of one of the most talked about stories in the numismatic world. So how did this happen? What makes this coin so special? And could you possibly have one of these rare pennies sitting in your spare change? Let's take a look at the history, the mystery, and what you need to watch for. Let's start with a bit of background. The Lincoln cent has been a part of American coinage since 1909. That year marked the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and the U.S. Mint honored him with the first American coin to feature a real person's image. Since then, the Lincoln penny has seen several design changes, but the basic format has stayed the same: Lincoln's profile on the front, and since 2010, a modern shield on the reverse. The 2018 Lincoln penny followed this design. The front shows Lincoln facing right with the words, "In God We Trust," across the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 2018, along with the mint mark just under his shoulder. On the back, a Union shield with a scroll reading 1 cent, and the inscription, "United States of America." So far, nothing out of the ordinary, right? Here's where things take a turn. The U.S. Mint produced over 11 billion Lincoln pennies in 2018. That's right, with a B. That makes this coin one of the most common coins in circulation today. But every once in a while, something rare slips through the cracks. That's exactly what happened with the 2018 Lincoln cent that shocked collectors and made headlines when it was reportedly valued at over $1.1 million. What made this tiny copper-plated coin so valuable? It all comes down to a combination of three powerful factors: an extreme mint error, a rare off-metal strike, and pristine condition. First, the error: the $1 million penny was struck on the wrong planchet, and not just any planchet. This particular 2018 penny was struck on a planchet intended for a dime. That means the coin is smaller, lighter, and missing part of the penny design around the edges. These are known as off-metal errors, and they are incredibly rare, especially on newer coins like this. Next, the condition: this wasn't just any error coin. It was found in nearly perfect mint state condition. We're talking about a coin that had virtually no wear, no scratches, and strong, full detail. It was submitted to a professional grading service and received a near top-tier grade, something like MS 68 or higher. That's incredibly difficult to achieve, especially for an error coin. And then there's demand. Collectors love rare errors. But when you combine a wrong planchet, a modern coin, a perfect grade, and a lot of public attention, the price can skyrocket. That's exactly what happened with the 2018 off-metal Lincoln cent. It attracted the attention of major collectors, was authenticated and certified, and went to auction where bids kept rising. The final estimated value? A jaw-dropping $1.1 million. What should you be looking for? If you've got any 2018 pennies, especially those with the D for Denver or P for Philadelphia under the date, here are a few signs to watch for. First, check the size and weight. A normal Lincoln penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If it weighs significantly less, around 2.2 or lower, and feels slightly smaller, it might be a planchet error. You can use a digital scale to test this at home. Second, examine the edges. Are they fully struck? Is any of the lettering cut off or missing from one side? That could indicate it was struck on the wrong blank. Next, look closely at the surface. Any doubling of the letters or numbers, especially in Liberty, "In God We Trust," or the date, could mean it's a double die, which is another valuable type of error. Also, check the reverse side. If the shield looks distorted, incomplete, or oddly placed, that could be a red flag that your penny is not just a penny. Lastly, check the condition. The better the condition, the more valuable the coin. Coins in mint state, meaning they show no signs of use or wear, are always worth checking. If you think you found something strange, whether it's a weight anomaly, size difference, or a doubling error, your next step is to send the coin to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll be able to confirm whether your coin is just an ordinary cent or something truly extraordinary. Even if your 2018 penny isn't the $1 million one, other valuable error versions have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Especially if they include off-center strikes, double dies, or clip planchets. In conclusion, the 2018 Lincoln penny is a powerful reminder that modern coins can still hold unbelievable value. Even in a year where billions were made, a few slipped through with rare and expensive flaws. One of them ended up being worth $1.1 million, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So before you toss your change or overlook that penny on the sidewalk, take a second look. That small copper coin might just be your ticket to a fortune. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more rare coin discoveries, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Let us know in the comments, have you ever found a strange or valuable coin in your pocket? We'd love to hear about it. Until next time, keep your eyes open, check your change, and happy hunting. Let me know if you'd like a follow-up for thumbnail design, video description, SEO title, or hashtags to go with this script. Welcome back to the channel. If you've ever tossed a penny aside thinking it wasn't worth much, today's story might just change your mind forever. We're diving into one of the most surprising and mysterious coins in modern American coinage, the 1980 Lincoln penny. Now, most people would assume a 1980 penny is common. Maybe it's been sitting in a change jar for decades. Maybe it's sitting in your car's cup holder right now. But what if I told you that one specific version of the 1980 Lincoln cent was once valued at an absolutely stunning $1.5 million? That's right. A coin worth just 1 cent, a coin most people wouldn't even bend over to pick up, became one of the most talked about finds in modern coin collecting. But how did it happen? Why is this penny so valuable? And most importantly, could you have one of these rare coins without even knowing it? Let's break down the full story, starting with a little background on the 1980 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent has been part of U.S. coinage since 1909. Introduced to mark the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, it was the first American coin to feature a real person's portrait. From 1909 to 1958, the coin featured wheat stalks on the reverse. From 1959 onward, the back of the coin featured the Lincoln Memorial, a design most of us are very familiar with. Now let's jump to the year 1980. By 1980, the U.S. Mint was still producing pennies made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. These copper pennies are heavier and have a distinctive ring when dropped. It was just 2 years later in 1982 when the Mint would switch to copper-plated zinc, which is what pennies are made from today. But in 1980, we were still firmly in the copper era. The U.S. Mint produced 1980 Lincoln cents in 2 main locations, Philadelphia and Denver. You can identify where your coin was minted by looking just below the date. If there's a small d, that means it was made at the Denver Mint. If there's no mint mark, it came from Philadelphia. In total, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 7.4 billion pennies in 1980. Denver produced more than 5 billion. That's a lot of coins. So, you're probably thinking, how could any of these be rare or valuable? That brings us to the million-dollar mystery in the world of coin collecting. It's not just about the date or the design. It's also about errors and one-off minting mistakes that somehow made it out of the mint and into circulation. These are the coins that truly excite collectors. They're not supposed to exist, but when they do, they can fetch huge prices at auction. In the case of the 1980 Lincoln penny, a very rare error variety emerged, a coin that was struck not on a normal copper penny blank, but on a planchet meant for a dime. This created a coin that looks like a penny but has the size, weight, and silvery color of a dime. It's what's known as an off-metal strike, and it's one of the most prized types of errors in all of numismatics. What made this particular 1980 penny even more valuable is that it was struck perfectly centered, with full details, and remained in mint condition. That combination of an off-metal error, flawless strike, and uncirculated condition made it an instant collector's dream. It was submitted to a top-tier grading service, likely PCGS, where it received an extremely high mint state grade, possibly MS 68 or higher. When it was authenticated and certified, the buzz in the numismatic community was huge. The coin was not only genuine but possibly the only known example of a 1980 Lincoln penny struck on a dime planchet in that condition. Eventually, when the coin was made available to a private buyer, the estimated value stunned everyone. It was reportedly purchased for $1.5 million by a serious collector who understood how incredibly rare and significant the coin was. Now here's the question, could you find one? It's rare, but it's not impossible. So here's what you should be looking for if you're checking through your old coins or inherited collection. First, look at the color and surface. If your 1980 penny has a silvery appearance instead of the normal copper tone, you might have something special. Next, weigh the coin. A normal 1980 copper penny weighs around 3.11 grams. A dime planchet weighs just 2.27 grams. That's a big difference. You'll need a digital scale that can measure to 2 decimal places for accuracy. Then, check the diameter. A penny should measure 19.05 millimeters. A dime is only 17.91 millimeters. If your coin is slightly smaller than a normal penny, that's a strong indicator. Also, examine the edges and lettering. A coin struck on the wrong planchet may appear off-center, or parts of the design could be cut off. That's because the design was made for a larger coin, but it was stamped onto a smaller blank. And finally, look for any doubling in the date or letters, which could indicate a double die error. Another rare and valuable mistake from the mint. If your 1980 penny shows any of these signs, your next step is to send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can examine the coin, determine if it's a genuine off-metal strike, and give it an official grade. Once that happens, your coin goes from pocket change to potential treasure. Even if you don't have the $1,000,000 version, some 1980 Lincoln pennies still carry value, especially those in high mint state grades, or with more common errors like off-center strikes, die cracks, or double dies. These coins can still fetch anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s, depending on rarity and condition. In conclusion, the 1980 Lincoln penny may seem like just another copper coin, but it holds the potential for hidden treasure. In one extraordinary case, a simple penny struck on the wrong metal planchet and preserved in pristine condition was worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. And while only one of these may have been found so far, more could be out there, waiting to be discovered by someone just like you. So don't ignore those old coins. Check your change, dig into your collections, and look closely at every 1980 penny that comes your way. You never know. You might be holding a piece of U.S. mint history that could change your life. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or fascinating, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss future videos about rare coins and valuable discoveries. Drop a comment below and let us know if you've ever found a strange or rare coin. We love hearing your stories. Until next time, stay curious, keep looking, and happy collecting. Let me know if you want help creating a viral video title, optimized description, or thumbnail text to pair with the script for maximum YouTube reach.